Ladies, let me tell you something. This world will take everything you've got and ask for more. It will watch you pour from a cup that's already cracked and clapped while you bleed yourself dry. And if you keep trying to please everybody, keep saying yes when your soul is screaming no. Keep shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. It will break you. Piece by piece, smile by fake smile. And the worst part, it'll call you kind for it. But let me ask you, what good is being nice if it costs you? You've been taught that being nice is noble, that turning the other cheek is mature, that being agreeable, accommodating, and always available is how you earn love, that keeping the peace means keeping silent. You were taught wrong. Let's get one thing straight. Being kind is strength. Being kind means having a generous spirit. It means showing grace when it's hard. It means you love deeply, stand tall, and give without losing yourself. But being nice, that's survival mode. That's what people do when they're afraid to be disliked. That's what people do when they confuse approval with peace. That's what happens when you spent too long proving your worth instead of standing in it. And I know why you did it. Somewhere back in your story, someone made you believe your love had to be earned. Someone praised you when you were quiet, rewarded you when you didn't complain, patted you on the back when you carried more than your share, and never once asked how you were doing. They told you that selflessness is holy, but what they meant was, make yourself small enough for me to step over. But listen to me now, God didn't put you on this earth to be walked on. He didn't craft your voice for it to go unheard. You were not created to be convenient. You were created to be powerful. And that power, it begins the moment you stop needing to be nice. The moment you say, I will not set myself on fire to keep others warm. The moment you say, I deserve relationships that don't drain me. The moment you realize you don't owe anyone your energy just because they ask for it. You are not obligated to be accessible 24/7. You are not required to smile when your heart is heavy. You are allowed to say, that doesn't work for me. You are allowed to disappoint people who had the wrong idea about who you are. That doesn't make you difficult. That makes you honest. See, the people who call you mean when you finally set boundaries, those are the people who benefited from you having none. The people who say, you've changed when you stop overgiving, those are the ones who never saw your sacrifice as sacrifice. They saw it as standard. Let that sink in. They never saw you bleeding. They saw you showing up. They never heard your silence as suffering. They heard it as obedience. So the day you stop being nice is the day you start being free. Now hear me. That freedom will cost you. It will cost you relationships you outgrew but clung to. It will cost you invitations to rooms where you were only ever tolerated, not celebrated. It will cost you the illusion of harmony, the temporary peace that comes from biting your tongue and bending your back. But what you gain your voice. You gain clarity. You gain sleep at night. You gain real connections built on truth, not convenience. You gain peace, not the kind of peace that comes from pleasing everyone, the kind that comes from finally pleasing yourself. And no, I don't mean selfishness. I mean self-respect. Let's be real. You've been given to everybody, your job, your kids, your partner, your friends, your church, your followers, your community. And when you sit alone at the end of the day, you're empty. And the lie tells you that's love. That's not love. That's martyrdom disguised as goodness. Real love doesn't require you to abandon yourself. It doesn't ask you to constantly prove you're worthy. It doesn't keep taking and calling it affection. Real love makes room. Real love respects your no. Real love doesn't break you to build someone else. Being nice to everyone won't save you. It will slowly erase you. Because here's what happens. One day you wake up and you don't recognize yourself. You've worn so many masks, played so many roles, edited yourself in so many conversations that the woman in the mirror feels like a stranger. You ask, where did I go? And the answer, you went missing in every moment you chose being liked over being real. Let that stop today. Stop performing. Start living. And that begins with drawing the line. You don't have to explain your no. You don't have to over apologize. You don't have to soften every boundary to make it palatable. Start saying what you mean without wrapping it in 10 layers of pleasantries. Stop shrinking your power to avoid being called aggressive. Stop over explaining your worth. Let people be uncomfortable. Let them adjust or let them leave. But you stay firm. I know it's scary. I know rejection cuts deep. But let me tell you something. Being loved for a version of you that's not real, that's not love, that's performance art. And you weren't born to entertain people at the cost of your sanity. You were born to stand in your truth, to honor your time, to protect your peace, to live boldly. And yes, that means some people will fall away. Your elevation requires elimination. Every time you rise, something has to fall off. And if that something is a fake relationship, a one-sided friendship, or a manipulative dynamic, thank God, because the people who really love you, they'll still be there after you stop performing. In fact, they'll love you more. They'll say it's good to finally meet the real you. So stop being nice. Be real. Be bold. Be kind. But don't be a doormat. Be generous. But don't be exploited. Be forgiving. But don't be foolish. There is a version of you that's tired of smiling through the pain. She's ready to rise. She's fierce. She's clear. She's done playing small. Let her out. Let her say what she needs to say. Let her walk away from the table where love is conditional. Let her build her own damn table. Let her rest without guilt. Let her shine without apology. And if anybody has a problem with that, let them go. Because life is too short to live for likes and long sighs. Life is too rich to be wasted in rooms that silence your soul. Life is too precious for you to spend it trying to be everything for everyone while being nothing for yourself. So today, let this be your awakening. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You don't have to die on the altar of approval. You are allowed to protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Being nice to everyone will break you, but standing in your truth, that will build you. So take your power back. Choose peace over people pleasing. Choose boundaries over burnout. Choose authenticity over approval. Choose you. The world doesn't need another nice girl. It needs a whole woman. And that woman, she's you. Let me tell you something else. You can be gentle and still have boundaries like iron gates. You can speak with love and still say enough. You can walk in grace and still close the door on people who only show up to drain you. They will call you cold. Let them. They will say you've changed. Say, yes, I have, and thank God. Because the old you, the one who said yes while crying on the inside, the one who canceled her own needs to meet everyone else's, the one who let guilt and obligation keep her in places she should have walked away from a long time ago. She's tired, she's done, and she's not coming back. Let her rest. Let her be the lesson. You are no longer available for one-sided love stories. You are no longer accepting apologies with no change attached. You are no longer staying silent so someone else can feel comfortable. This is your healing era. This is your whole self era. This is the chapter where you stop asking for permission to live in your power. And I'm going to say something that might sting, but you need to hear it. Some of the people you've been bending over backwards for, they don't even see you. Not really. They see what you do for them. They see your usefulness. They see your reliability. But your heart, your dreams, your quiet cries in the dark, they don't see that. Because when you teach people that your love comes with self-abandonment, they expect it. They get comfortable, they believe it's your role to be the steady one, the fixer, the one who never needs help, the one who holds everything together, but who holds you, who checks in on you when the weight gets too heavy, who sees the invisible labor behind that smile, who notices when your soul is starving. You want to know the truth. Most people don't see it until you stop showing up, until the calls go unanswered, until you stop fixing their messes, until your silence speaks louder than your service ever did. And that moment, that breaking point, it isn't weakness. It's not bitterness. It's not drama. It's rebirth. You are allowed to grow out of roles you never volunteered for. You are allowed to evolve past the version of you that everyone got used to. You are allowed to want more than just survival. Because listen, you weren't created just to cope. You were created to thrive. So start asking yourself, what does thriving look like for me? Not for them, for you. Maybe it looks like rest. Maybe it looks like taking up space without guilt. Maybe it looks like walking away from people who make you question your worth. Maybe it looks like starting over at 40, 50, or 60 because your spirit finally woke up and said no more. Whatever it looks like, it's yours, and you don't have to explain it to anybody. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them create their own story, because while they're stuck in the past version of who you were, you'll be too busy building the future of who you're becoming. A woman who chooses herself is unstoppable. A woman who loves herself is unshakable. A woman who knows her worth no longer negotiates it. And that's what this is really about. Not about being cold, not about being rude, not about becoming hardened. It's about finally realizing your softness deserves a safe place to land. Your loyalty deserves reciprocity. Your energy deserves respect. And if someone can't give you that, let them go. You can forgive people and still never invite them back into your peace. You can wish someone well and still choose to love them from a distance. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your heart just because they once had the key. Some doors need to stay closed. Some chapters need to stay closed. Some people are lessons, not life partners, not forever friends, not lifelong assignments. And the more you cling, the more you delay your destiny. Release them. Release the need to be understood by everyone. Release the idea that being needed equals being loved. Release the pressure to hold it all together. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to become you fully, loudly, unapologetically. So step into that. Stop being nice. Stop being true. You weren't sent here to serve as a cushion for other people's dysfunction. You weren't born to be the emotional dumping ground, the fallback plan, or the unappreciated backbone of everyone else's comfort zone. Somewhere deep down, you already know this. That whisper inside you, the one that's been growing louder lately, it's not confusion. It's not rebellion. It's the truth waking up inside you. It's the part of you that's done watching your life happen while you're stuck backstage applauding everyone else. You've carried enough. You've explained enough. You've compromised until your identity started dissolving. And for what? To be liked, to avoid conflict, to be called so nice. Nice doesn't mean fulfilled. Nice doesn't mean respected. Nice doesn't build legacy. Nice wears a mask. It walks on eggshells. It stays quiet in rooms where truth should echo. But there's a version of you waiting, the real you, the one who doesn't need to dilute her power just to be accepted, the one who doesn't shrink herself so someone else can feel tall, the one who doesn't apologize for her standards. She's bold. She's focused, and she's no longer interested in people-pleasing, because people-pleasing is spiritual poverty. You spend your joy to buy other people's comfort. You sell your voice just to keep the peace, and every time you do it, a little more of your light dims. Let that end. You don't need to say yes just because it's expected. You don't need to engage just because someone called your name. You don't have to respond, explain, prove, justify, or perform. You get to choose silence. You get to choose solitude. You get to choose yourself, even when it shocks people, especially when it shocks people, because people will challenge your peace. When your peace no longer benefits them, when you stop being predictable, when you no longer jump through hoops, that's when the criticism shows up. That's when the guilt trips start. That's when the manipulation gets louder. Stand firm. If they can only love you when you're self-sacrificing, it's not love. If their respect disappears the moment you prioritize yourself, it was never respect. Start building a life where your presence is not transactional, where you're not performing emotional labor to secure a seat at someone's table, where your existence isn't measured by your compliance. That kind of life requires bold decisions. It requires walking away from comfort that's slowly killing your spirit. It requires trusting that the right people, The ones who honor your boundaries and cherish your fullness. They will find you when you stop hiding, because real connection doesn't demand your self-erasure. It doesn't punish your no. It doesn't flinch when you rise. So rise anyway, even if your voice shakes, even if your knees wobble, even if nobody claps when you choose yourself. Clap for yourself. Because every step away from performance is a step toward power. Every moment you say, this doesn't serve me anymore, is a moment you reclaim your time, your energy, your future. You deserve a life that feels like alignment, not endurance. You deserve relationships that feel like mutual elevation, not emotional obligation. You deserve mornings where you wake up excited, not drained from carrying the invisible weight of keeping everyone else comfortable. So choose freedom over familiar, choose peace over politeness, choose real over nice. And understand this, you are not broken for having limits. You are not difficult for demanding reciprocity. You are not selfish for wanting to feel safe, seen, and supported. That's called maturity. That's called clarity. That's called growth. And yes, it's gonna change how people treat you. Some will distance themselves. Some will label you. Some will push back. Let them fall away. Because what's waiting on the other side of your people-pleasing is peace. And that peace, it's magnetic, it's healing, it's loud in the best way. It says, I'm no longer available for roles that require my silence. It says, I am not responsible for how others react to my boundaries. It says, my value isn't based on how easy I am to manipulate. That peace will change your life. It will attract people who love you for who you actually are, not for the performance you used to give. It will open doors that were locked behind your fear of rejection. It will give you back your time, your clarity, your confidence. And once you've tasted that kind of peace, you'll never chase shallow approval again. You'll stop asking, what if they don't like me? And start asking, do I even like them? You'll stop looking for permission to rest, to say no, to say less, and start giving yourself that permission freely. You'll stop proving and start being. You'll stop performing and start living. So here's the final truth. Being nice was never the goal. Being whole is. Wholeness requires honesty. It demands boundaries. It insists on rest, reflection, and real love. That's the life you deserve. A life that doesn't applaud your burnout. A life that doesn't require you to disappear to be loved. A life where your soul doesn't have to scream to be heard. It starts when you decide, I'm done being nice. I choose to be real. I choose to be free. Let me say this as clearly as I can. You don't rise by pleasing people. You rise by knowing who you are, owning it, and refusing to dim that light just because someone else finds it too bright. You don't climb by carrying everyone else. You climb by learning when to help and when to let go, because some people aren't passengers, they're anchors. And hear this, you do not owe loyalty to the version of yourself that kept everyone comfortable. You outgrew that woman. She was necessary for a time. She survived what she had to survive. She navigated chaos with grace. She bit her tongue to protect peace. She kept the house running, the relationships alive, the energy moving, all while bleeding silently. But you don't have to live like that anymore. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes the cost of pretending is too high. You can't afford to keep silencing yourself. You can't afford to keep smiling while suffocating. You can't afford to keep performing gratitude in spaces that haven't fed your soul in years. You were not created to survive in fragments. You were created to thrive in fullness. So I'll ask you again, what is it costing you to be so nice? Your health, your peace, your self-respect. How long are you going to ignore the version of you that's screaming to be seen? She's there under all the obligations, all the overgiving, all the performance. She's there waiting, and she's fierce. She's not here to be agreeable. She's not here to water herself down. She's not here to fit the mold. She came to break it. She came to speak the truth. Even when her voice shakes, she came to walk away from what no longer aligns. She came to be heard, not just tolerated. And when you finally let her out, everything changes. Your posture changes. Your standards change. Your circle changes. Because when you raise your voice, you raise your vibration. And the wrong people won't survive the frequency shift. Let them fall off. Let them make space, because there are new connections waiting for you. Ones that don't require performance. Ones that don't make you pay for your peace. Ones where you're loved as you are, not as you're useful. But those connections can only find the real you, not the version you've built for approval. So tear it down. Tear down the stories that told you you're too much. Tear down the lies that said you're selfish for choosing rest. Tear down the conditioning that taught you to smile through disrespect, to laugh off pain, to swallow your needs like they're an inconvenience. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be authentic, and authenticity has a price, but it's always worth paying, because what's the alternative? A life where you're loved for your mask but lonely in your truth. A life where you're praised for your patience, but silently resentful of being taken for granted. A life where everyone thinks you're strong, but no one thinks to ask if you're okay. No, that's not a life. That's survival on autopilot. You're ready for more. You're ready for real. And real isn't always easy. It's not always pretty. It's not always well received, but real is where healing begins. Real is where your energy stops leaking and starts expanding. Real is where the right people see you and they don't flinch. They don't flinch when you say no. They don't flinch when you say that hurt me. They don't flinch when you speak your needs, your dreams, your boundaries. In fact, they lean in, because real recognizes. So if people start falling away when you stop performing, celebrate. That's not rejection. That's refinement. That's your life getting lighter, leaner, more aligned. Let it. And don't you dare grieve the loss of people who only love the edited version of you. You're not losing relationships. You're losing illusions. You're not becoming difficult. You're becoming clear. You're not breaking down. You're breaking free. And freedom is messy at first. It'll cost you fake peace. It'll cost you people who only came around when you were convenient. It'll cost you the comfort of being liked by everybody, but it will give you everything: your sanity, your voice, your mornings without dread, your nights without overthinking, your sense of self, unshaken and whole. And when you finally live from that place, when you operate from wholeness instead of obligation, your entire life begins to shift. Opportunities align, your health improves, your spirit breathes, your vision clear, because there's nothing more magnetic than a woman who knows who she is and refuses to apologize for it. That's not arrogance. That's authority. That's not defiance. That's divinity. That's not rudeness. That's realness. And if people call you difficult now that you've stepped into your power, you're not difficult. You're discerning. You're not too much. You're just finally full. You're not cold. You just learn not to set fire to yourself, to keep others warm. So say it out loud. I'm not here to be nice. Say it again. I'm not here to be easy to digest. Say it one more time, louder. I'm here to live in my truth, and that truth doesn't require your permission. Let me break it down for you. The minute you stop trying to be liked by everyone, something powerful happens. Your spirit starts to breathe again. You stop negotiating your worth in rooms where you were never meant to belong. You stop begging for crumbs at tables you could have built yourself. You stop pretending that peace means being silent, small, or invisible, because the truth is, some people only liked you because you didn't challenge them. They liked you better when you didn't speak up, when you were exhausted but still said yes, when you ignored the pit in your stomach and smiled anyway. But was that really love? Or was that control wrapped in compliments? They liked the version of you that didn't make waves, that didn't cause trouble, that didn't call out disrespect. But here's what they didn't see. Every time you swallowed your voice, a part of you broke. Every time you said it's okay when it wasn't, your heart lost strength. Every time you let him walk over your boundaries in the name of being nice, you trained him to treat you like a floor mat. And now you're done being the floor. You're ready to be the foundation. That means not everybody gets access. That means no is a full sentence. That means your energy is earned, not assumed. You are no longer available for emotional freeloaders. You are no longer entertaining apologies without changed behavior. You are no longer confusing chaos for passion. You are choosing peace that isn't manufactured by performance. You are choosing a life where you don't have to act to be accepted. You are choosing to live in the truth of who you are without fear, without shame, without the need to soften your edges for fragile egos. And yes, it's going to disrupt some people, but that's not your problem. Your job is not to manage everyone's feelings. Your job is to manage your alignment, because too many people are out here bleeding from emotional paper cuts, wounds they got from constantly silencing themselves to protect other people's comfort. Not you, not anymore. You are allowed to walk away mid-conversation if your peace is on the line. You are allowed to change your mind, even if they call it selfish. You are allowed to grow out of spaces that once felt safe, because your healing demands new environments. Your elevation demands silence from distractions, and your evolution doesn't require their consent. They don't have to get it. They don't have to approve. They don't even have to like it. You're not here for comfort. You're here for truth. And the truth is, you are no longer willing to abandon yourself just to keep the room calm. You've learned that being nice was just a strategy to survive, to stay accepted, to avoid being left behind. But now, you're the one doing the choosing. You're the one setting the terms. You're the one saying no more one-way loyalty, no more unreciprocated energy, no more emotional contortion just to be palatable. You're not here to make everyone else feel better while you fall apart behind the scenes. You're not here to babysit people's insecurities. You're not here to carry dead weight in the name of being a good woman. You're here to expand, to reign. And let me tell you something about people who only stick around when you're overextending yourself. They will leave the moment you start honoring your worth. And when they leave, let them. Don't chase, don't explain, don't shrink. Let them go. Let the silence swallow their absence. Let the space become sacred again. Because your life is not a shelter for unhealed, manipulative, energy-draining dynamics. You are no longer a soft place for chaos to land. You are the storm that clears out the rock. You are the fire that burns away what was never rooted in love. And when the smoke clears, what's left? You, the real you, the version of you who knows her value, who doesn't barter her soul for belonging, who doesn't chase love with hands that were made to build legacies. You're done begging, done asking for permission, done sitting quietly in corners while everyone else takes up space. Now it's your turn to speak without trembling, to move without second guessing, to love without losing yourself, to walk away when the energy shifts, to say no and not apologize afterward, to say yes and not explain why, to exist fully and freely without the invisible leash of nice girl guilt around your neck. This is what power feels like. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't break itself down into tiny pieces, hoping someone will see the whole picture. Power stands, power breathes, power chooses, and now so do you. You choose peace over politeness. You choose rest over obligation. You choose presence over pretense. You choose growth over guilt. And the moment you choose those things consistently, you start to experience a life that doesn't feel like a performance, but a homecoming. You come home to yourself, to your truth, to your standards, to your worth. And once you get there, once you taste that kind of freedom, you won't ever go back. You won't trade it for shallow approval. You won't exchange it for surface level love. You won't surrender it for fragile friendships that can't handle your full volume. You'll stop asking, am I too much? And start asking, is this space big enough for all that I am becoming? Because nice is quiet, but real is loud. Nice is safe, but real is sacred. Nice is expected, but real is liberation. So walk away from nice, walk toward freedom, and don't look back.